Freedom's greetings, Helldivers, and it seems the new Gloom City missions have been giving our Helldivers a bit of a rough time. Considering they're spawning in more enemies than ever before, Bile Titan holes are on every other street corner, and, quite frankly, you can't see shit half the time. But don't worry, as I've crafted some new best loadouts for handling the Bogominations, any of which will see you through these new difficult Gloom missions on even the spiciest of Super Helldive operations. So let's waste no time and get into my top Gloom Stomper builds for Helldivers 2. The first setup utilizes what I feel has been the strongest Bug Zapper primary for a very long time, that of course being the Arc 12 Blitzer. The Blitzer featuring auto headshot aim, infinite ammo, 30 staggering force, which is enough to lock up any medium or smaller threat, medium armor penetration, and even a small stunning effect. Every good loadout against the Terminids needs some form of main crowd control element, as the bugs are simply too numerous in number and too fast to always simply DPS down without some form of control. And the Arc 12 Blitzer simply does this better than any other option. Not to mention, the Gloom bugs, unlike on their release, do now deal explosive damage when they die in a 3 or 4 meter radius around them. This damage, more often than not, is high enough to actually kill other Gloom bugs nearby, causing a chain reaction. So, weapons that are capable of hitting multiple targets at the same time can cascade into clearing entire groups of enemies in one shot, something the Blitzer is capable of doing. This is something I've talked about many times before, but just as a refresher, the proper way of utilizing the Blitzer with its slow fire rate is not to hold down the trigger and not to ADS. It automatically hits targets at close range, so there is no need to do this. And holding down the trigger causes your Helldiver to walk in between shots where you could be kiting and running away instead. A Helldiver that consistently kites with the Blitzer in between shots properly is virtually immortal when it comes to slaying medium and smaller bugs. During Terminid operations in general, but especially against the Gloom City operations, there are absolutely tons of bug holes to close. So every good Terminid loadout needs a personal element of spawner killing capability. We're going to handle this by bringing along the tried and tested option of the grenade pistol. The grenade pistol can, in a pinch, destroy medium threats and blast Terminids with its area of effect, but the ammunition is far too limited for this to be the main use case, only serving as a panic button. Although the grenade pistol does have limited ammo and we're closing far more bug holes than the pistol has ammo for, the city maps are host to the most extra ammunition pickups available in the entire game. So a resourceful Helldiver should have no problem staying topped up on shells in between resupply drops. So we've only picked two pieces of gear so far, but we have a way of dealing with just about everything that Gloom can throw at us besides the heavy Terminid units, these being Impalers, Chargers, and Titans. We're going to answer all three of these with the Quasar Cannon. The support weapon has been my go to for months against the Terminids for several very good reasons. It doesn't take a backpack slot, something very valuable on the Terminid front, as there are many good backpack options. It has infinite ammo on a cooldown that just so happens to more often than not line up with when you need it for another heavy unit. And most importantly, it one shots all three types of heavy units on the Terminid front with a headshot. Reminder that the forehead of the Impaler is the head hitbox and nowhere else, so apply queso directly to the forehead. There are more heavy units stomping around these operations than ever before, so having a support weapon that can take them down in one shot without any ammo constraints has never been more valuable. When it comes to the grenade slot, there are really two good options to choose from for this build: either stun grenades for hard lockdown, or gas grenades for additional crowd control and even more spawner closing options. Both function as great panic buttons when the enemy manages to sneak up and close distance with you, although the stuns are more reliable in this regard. Both can stop a charger and make it sit still long enough to be dealt with, but notably, stun grenades keep the charger perfectly still, which is ideal for the Quasar Cannon follow up, while gassing them has them do a little annoying dance in place that can throw off your headshot. Gas grenades are notably better at closing off the roads and alleyways around the cityscape, however, and again, they are extra bug hole destroyers when needed. So, this choice is up in the air, and one I rotate between pretty frequently, depending on how much heavy lifting I plan to do for the team as far as bug hole closing. If I'm taking this loadout into a blitz mission, for example, where our primary objective is just bug holes with a short timer, I favor gas grenades. Most anywhere else, I tend to favor the stuns. For the armor I choose to run, it's always going to be some form of light armor. When it comes to Terminids, there is not enough armor in the world to keep you upright if you let the swarm get on top of you. Your best defense has and always will be to maintain your distance. And you do this most easily by maximizing your movement speed and stamina with lighter armored suits. As far as which light armor you run, it's going to be down to personal preference for the most part, as these passives have pretty limited impact. However, for the Gloom bug specifically, the explosive resistant FS-37 Ravager has been my go to. Spewers, Spore Chargers, and now Gloom bugs explosions on death deal to no one's surprise explosive damage. And between Vitality Booster and this passive, even with only 50 armor, the Gloom bug's death explosion ends up doing next to nothing, and death sentences like Spore Chargers dying near you become survivable. Other very good options against this faction include the AC2 Obedient Killzone armor with its acid resistance, helping you survive Bile Titan and Spewer Vomit, and the CM21 Trench Paramedic for its additional stims and 50% additional stim duration that can get you out of some very sticky situations, although you are a little bit slower in this suit compared to the other two. Finally, getting into our stratagems, in all cases, the 500 kg bomb is going to be a must pick for me with this loadout. Its 50 demolition force means we have a guaranteed way of getting rid of Bile Titan holes, and typically any Bile Titans that happen to be crawling out of them at the time. It's a variable street cleaner when you need it, and it's not a bad way to clear up large portions of megas or even just large nests, as well as entire medium nests with just one stratagem, making this nuclear bomb the Swiss Army knife of the Terminid front, able to answer any problem you might have at a moment's notice. Next, we choose our backpack slot, and this is where things get very flexible and are going to come down to your preferences. A Helldiver loading out with the personal shield and the Blitzer is basically never ever going to die to anything smaller than a charger under even the most stressful of circumstances if playing properly. And a dead Helldiver isn't accomplishing anything, so it's in our best interest to stay upright if we want to be as efficient as possible. This is why it's my preferred option. For those that do not value their Helldiver's life as much as I do, seeing the 20 lives more so as a resource to be spent, other good pairings will be the Stink Bug if you want more area denial and crowd control to go with your area denial and crowd control, also functioning as a great survivability buff in and of itself. Or the Laser Guard Dog for additional DPS for those of you that feel the Blitzer lacks in this department, creating a great pairing of DPS and crowd control capability. The last stratagem slot is extremely flexible and can be damn near anything you want, as we've by now covered all necessary requirements for a strong loadout. My favorites for this slot at the moment being some form of turret for additional DPS to pair with my blitzer if I want a low cooldown option. The all powerful orbital napalm barrage, which is basically a set and forget option anytime a breach pops up that you'd rather not deal with. Or the Emancipator exosuit if I'm on a blitz mission. The Emancipator's low number of uses and long cooldown are of little concern if the mission doesn't last long enough for me to even care about the second usage, and I get enough value out of the stratagem initially. In most cases, the Emancipator can be deployed to close up mega nests and large nests all on its own merit, while gunning down any bug breaches and Terminid units that might get in your way while doing so. And because these new bugs explode on death more often than not, just a couple shots from the Emancipator deletes entire swarms. The Emancipator also received some undocumented changes to its survivability recently that made it a better pick against the Terminids than most may realize. The main body of the mech received an increase from 20% durability to 100%, and the main health pool has gone from 0% durability to 100%, making mechs a lot more tanky against non explosive damage, like, say, scratches from Terminids than they were previously. Now, obviously, I don't just run one build all the time, as that would get too boring. This is my main setup, but I mix it up with other honorable mentions, such as the Halt shotgun. The Halt has all the capability of the Blitzer, with about the same DPS when we account for how the Blitzer is always aiming for auto headshots. The Halt does, however, not have infinite ammo or auto aim, meaning it's more difficult to use. But we are in the city, where ammo is plentiful, so the infinite ammo isn't missed very much. What we get out of this trade off, though, is an answer to the Shrieker swarms, something the Blitzer struggles with due to its limited range, as well as a way to stun chargers from the front, with its alt fire that is functionally as powerful as a stun grenade, capable of halting all enemy opposition in its tracks. The weapon is far more difficult to use than the Blitzer as it requires good management of its ammo swap system to really shine. But in the hands of an experienced Helldiver, it's easily in my top two primary options for this faction, and my go to pick for the Shrieker Swarm operational modifier. Now, if you want to mix things up even further, we can delegate our crowd control element to the Stinkbug Guard Dog and run the Torture as our primary. This combination gives us what many would call unmatched area denial by spraying flames across the area that we wish to lock out with the Torture, while the Guard Dog keeps any adversary from passing through our firewall. The Blitzer can make it difficult to play near your teammates, functioning better as a one man band where you go off and solo the match, or for the most part do your own thing self sufficiently, while this combination fits extremely well into a team composition looking to play closely together. You keep the enemy at bay while your teammates deal with any threats at range or tanks while holding down an area to complete an objective. This combination will feel especially good when being run alongside coordinated allies like the ones that you can find within our platoon and community Discord, the Ghost Divers. While our unit primarily combats automatons through stealth and subterfuge, we play for the major order and stomp just as many bugs as anyone. And although, yes, this is my Discord and I am a content creator, I do not ping you for anything unless you opt into it. So, no annoying unwanted server pings except in extremely special occasions. This is a gaming community first, and my content creator Discord second. So, if you're looking to join one of the longest running Helldivers communities in the known universe to get an experience many would call much more satisfying than smashing the quick play button, then look no further and join up today by taking the server invite link provided in the description below. And that is just about going to wrap up my best loadouts to combat the new Gloom bugs with. These new additions to the game haven't really shaken things up too much as far as what is or isn't the most effective gear, in my opinion, but they have gone a long way to adding to the variety of gameplay and have had a significant reduction to the feeling of repetition when it comes to playing Helldivers 2 in general. But what do you guys think about the new changes, and what gear have you found to be your personal best for combating these new threats? Let's have a nice civil discussion about it in the comments below. Thank you to my coffee supporters who help keep the channel going, and thank you for watching till the end. I'll see you next time. Not good, not good, not good, not good, not good, not good.